time for the nitty-gritty. Conversations be real live, it's time for the nitty-gritty. The revolution's not televised, it's time for the nitty-gritty. Reaching out to your conscious mind, it's time for the nitty-gritty. More than talking, you're taking action, it's time for the nitty-gritty.
Work on your lips.
You got some Jamal Moore.
We'll need that.
Shout out to Jamal.
Yeah, local drummer. He played for a couple people, right?
Ariana Grande, TNGS.
Some little beats and stuff right now. Got an album on Apple Music. Voyager. Check them out. If you're a local artist, you got some dope music, send it our way. We'll play it before the show. Play a couple of cuts after the show. You know, shout you out. Especially if you're from the DMV, I want to put you on. You know what I'm saying? Use our platform to put you out. So, shout out Jamal Moore. Got some dope little grooves up in there. I need to spit a couple of 16s to that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's your boy Jay Hussle.
I was like, what? Okay.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Alright. But anyways, what's up going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jay DaCosta.
It's your girl, Captain.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. Look, here today, got a pretty good show, I think, lined up for you guys. Want to talk about a couple of things, especially when we consider what transpired just this past Sunday, actually while we were live.
We were live when Christopher McKinney, hey, the McKinneys, I think that's them, told us that Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
Ooh, sorry guys.
Like that?
Nipsey Hussle was shot and murdered. Now, I'm not gonna lie, prior to Sunday, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Being completely transparent. I'm not really hip to like all the rappers out there, but Juan knew who he was.
Yeah, shout out Nipsey. Like, I think still to this day, I know a lot of people like Victory Lap. Victory Lap is dope. That was his most recent project, but I'm still a big fan of Marathon personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, Young, Rich, and Famous, dope. That's a dope track right there. I would play it here, but you know, it's a little bit on the edgy side. Not trying to offend our elderly and our Christian listeners. You know, I ain't gonna hit them up the head that hard, but yeah, no, Nipsey was dope, definitely, and you know, it kind of sparked a lot of conversations I seen going on. Unfortunately, there was some foolishness around it as well. Like the first candlelight visual they had, I think it was April 1st. Somebody ended up shooting that up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, somebody shot that up, and then they had other ones subsequent from that. Dave East did some things for him. Shout out to My Son General. My Son, he actually did a march for, you know, the Kings Stop Killing Kings. We're gonna get into some of that conversation about things surrounding that. But really, it sparked a conversation for us at the Nitty Gritty, because you know, we try not to compete with the blogs and, you know, the social gossip. That's not the platform we have here. We're about talking about issues, educating our listeners, creating discourse to talk about things that affect primarily our community, but then it affects other communities and then becomes relevant just outside the black experience, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, when we were talking about this, we wanted to definitely discuss just this idea or this notion of just this infighting within our culture, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when people have, you know, good ideas or trying to do better. Something they brought up in the Breakfast Club, I think I want to bring it up here today. Also, like this notion of, you know, getting out of the hood, giving back to the hood.
Oh yeah, would you go back and relive? I think the Breakfast Club did have a segment.
Yeah.
Like, after you get out of the hood, would you go back and live in the hood? And I think it's tough because back like in the 60s when you were black, you weren't allowed to live in another neighborhood. Whether you were wealthy or poor, all black people lived together. So I think that there was some kind of like respect of a man's hustle. It was kind of like people living in harmony. I don't remember stories of people saying in the 60s like, yeah, we robbed that doctor. It was kind of like, well, he's the community doctor, so he services us all. So, you know, if he's getting his coins, we're patronizing him, we respect him. Nowadays, I feel like, because of how society is and because life is hard, I feel as though people genuinely, well, at least it seems like it's the notion when you in the hood that if you're doing well, I'm kind of jealous, and it's like, I don't want to see you doing better than me, so I'm going to rob you for what you got because You know, I don't want to see you
So Marv.
So, it's just unfortunate because I myself don't think that I would be able to live in a place that I don't know would be considered safe for me and my family.
No, and I understand that, right? It's you know, everybody used to call him Neighborhood Nip. If I could use the example of Nipsey again, right? They used to call him Neighborhood Nip. And for those that's joining on, you know, we're talking about the idea of black on black crime. Of course, that doesn't supersede the idea of that we can't still be upset about someone from out the culture killing someone within. But there is something we have to deal with within. All right, we can't ignore that. And when you see the example of Nipsey, I think it brings up the conversation again. When you see a guy like that who wanted to do better, who was doing all the right things, literally bought up that block in his neighborhood. He just didn't own that store. He owned the whole block. He was putting people on the whole time, the right way. And to see this conversation, for those that don't know, if you're not connected to culture or don't know what the memes meant all this week, Nipsey Hussle died because he had an exchange with somebody. I know there's been a lot of conspiracy theories about Dr. Sebi and all that. Yes, he was working on a documentary, but you know, the basis of what we have is sitting there having a conversation outside the Marathon store, question the dude or ask the guy, hey, you know, word around the block, word on the streets is you a snitch, blah 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 blah. Dude, his ego offended. You know, it's crazy. Joe Budden said this once before. Why is it that people get offended?
Joe Budden offended, but
no. But he had said something about the whole issue about people getting offended about dumb things. If you tell somebody you from the hood, and if you come back and say, yeah, but you know, you were sitting on the porch or you didn't do nothing in them,
right? People
get offended by that. But why should you be offended? Why shouldn't it be a bad thing to come from any hood in any neighborhood across the U.S. or across the world and feel bad about the fact that you weren't engaged in criminal activity while there? There's a bunch of people that come from trying neighborhoods. You got Will Smith, you got Kevin Hart, all these different comedians. You have Jill Scott, all of them are from Philly.
But even
Music Soul Child from Philly, but
even with that, Will Smith, to my understanding, wasn't like no struggle. He came from a 2-parent household.
Well, okay, he had a good family, but you have like a lot of these people. They come from these inner city environments, and you know they don't have to brag about being hood or whatever. And then just the ignorance that came after that, him coming back, shooting them, and everything, and it's just wow. We have to be upset about this. Like we give a lot of energy to being upset about a white police officer shooting an unarmed black man, which you should be pissed about, because these people are put in place to the cars. They all say it too, serve and protect, but that's not serving and protecting.
No.
But then there's still so you can be mad about that, but at the same time still be mad about, for us in our community, you can still be mad about another king killing another king. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you're not a king, but just the fact that you're a man, you're a brother, and you're trying to do better, we will rob and kill each other. Why would you want to hurt? You shouldn't want to hurt anybody, but especially someone who look like you, someone who looks like the person, the reflection in the mirror. Why are we doing harm to ourselves? And I think one thing I want to ask, I know we got people watching and stuff, is, you know, why do you think we have these issues within our community? Why can't we find this place of love amongst each other? Because it's senseless. It's like, you know, why get in the way of us trying to talk about injustices because of the color of our skin?
Well, yeah, not only
you know, why allow that to get in the way of that with us hurting each other or being willing to do harm to one another?
Agreed, because it does get in the way. And then when white folks or people who have an issue with black Americans or are kind of ignorant, all they have is the media to look at as a point of reference to talk about our story, you know, it doesn't really help the cause. It's kind of like, well, why do we want to change legislative rights for them? Look at them. They're acting like animals. They're killing one another. And they kind of it's their way of having a narrative to give them validity to how they think, and that's wrong. And it also doesn't help that we already know we're being systematically oppressed, and then we're oppressing one another. If you're somebody that wants to get out the hood and do better for yourself, why are we, as a community, prone like, oh, you trying to be white because I speak proper English, not because I'm having a white tone, or why is that when your kid is smart, oh, he's corny, you gotta be this thug, or you gotta look a certain way. First of all, black people, the whole black diaspora is very diverse. We have to really get out of this mindset that black people are monolithic and that we all think and act the same way, because we don't. Black folks are very diverse. If you go to any HBCU, you'll see a black kid that skateboards, you'll see a black kid that may be kind of thug, you see a black boy that grew up real prep, we're Brook Brothers, and they're all black, and they have all different stories. I think that sometimes with the hood is that, unfortunately, when you talk to people who are in the hood, they have very little exposure outside of their small paradigm and their small four corners. It's like people who I know who live in the hood, I'm from Cleveland, you'll talk to them and they literally would never have driven like to the other side of the city. They've never traveled. So all they know is they block. And it's like you lived your whole life knowing the block. And the world that we live in is just much bigger than the block. And so I feel like oftentimes when it's like kind of a crab is in the barrel, they don't want anybody else to explore the unknown, or maybe they're fearful of the unknown. I don't know, but it's really interesting. And I also want to raise one more point. I feel like I got verbal thrashings, maybe like 4 years ago. I kept talking about black on black crime. People on social media said, there is no such thing as black on black crime. You don't know what you're talking about. That term was coined by white folks and yada, yada, yada. And I didn't really understand, because my point of view was, hey, why are we so willing to join arms and be in one accord about the mom who lost a son to police brutality, but then when the mom who's looking for help and aid and support, who lost a son to just, regular gang violence in Chicago, whatever, we don't give her that support. And everybody thought I was like talking crazy. Okay, here's the thing. Yes, we all know there is white on white crime. But right now we're talking about what happens in our community and what we can do to improve our community. And to dismiss the notion that there's no such thing as black on black crime is detrimental, because it is. And it brings me to my final point. The reason why I think people get so sensitive, or why we have toxic masculinity, people like, oh man, but you really wasn't in the street, you was on the porch, or what did Nipsey call the guy a snitch? The reason why people get so sensitive about these topics is because they're unwilling to call a thing a thing. In the words of Ayala Van Zandt, if you watch Fix My Life, in order for you to heal and really move on, you got to be transparent and honest with yourself. So if you know that you're a liar and you cannot say you're a liar, then you're going to always have a problem, or it's going to be a sensitive issue when someone brings it up. You have to be honest about who you are and where you come from. If you know you was kind of a punk, it is what it is. Now, my thing is, if you don't want to be known as a punk no more, there are things you can do to not be known as that, or whatever the case may be. The point I'm trying to make is that people only get sensitive about things they're not real or honest with themselves about. Like, for example, I'm dark skinned. So if somebody were to go out there and be like, oh, she dark skinned, there's no reason, I would never get upset about that, because I'm dark skinned. You get what I'm saying? So, there's a comment.
I mean, I'm trying to read the whole thing, but it wouldn't come up. But anyway, he's like, that's true.
Move our finger. It is touchpad. I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to move the camera. But that's true, but I do know some black folks you talk about that don't want anything to do with others, with other blacks. I want to see the rest of their comment. That might be all of it. But,
no, it's not. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. No, you know what? And that's true. And to me, and I'm happy that you brought that up, Marvin, because I was actually going to allude to the same thing, which is when you see that, it's the same thing as when we talk about the gang violence or the stuff that happens in the hood. To me, that's no different than being in a corporate arena, right? There's already black people established there, and then there's this notion that even in corporate America, so we see it in the streets. Oh, there can only be one dude on the street, and somehow folks with a degree in in an organization associated with this or whatever feel like they're beyond that, and that's not true. There's been this notion amongst blacks in corporate America that there can only be one. Oh, there can only be one more black VP. There could be only one more black director, and you'll see, unfortunately, blacks in these professional positions trying to block other younger ones coming up to sit beside them. Because they're afraid that, and actually it's crazy because they just talked about this on Blackish.
They sure
yeah,
did.
you know, the notion of there can only be one. And so even though it's not a gun, even though it's not based in some type of gang violence or something like that, the damage is still the same. We will attack one another. Meanwhile, you have sometimes, especially in these days in America, you very possible you have a white male counterpart that have these backward ideas about what your place is in the company. Now, instead of taking that person to HR and dealing with that individual and getting him out of there, you'll rather oppress the young black talent you have or the person that looks like you because you're afraid that he's going to take your spot.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you should be helping him take that old person's thought whose mentality is not even fit to move the company forward.
Yeah.
You know, the only way we're going to treat diversity is when you see someone else come up, sometimes they'll look like you, maybe they don't look like you. Maybe this person has an Indian background. Maybe this person has an East European background, or maybe they're from South America. Who cares, right? But if you have somebody coming up, why would you oppress them because they create diversity in the job? And more importantly, because we're talking about the black community here, why would you want to oppress that person? You can finally have some support there with you. You can have somebody working beside you. Why would you want somebody working with you that looks like you, that can understand your paradigm to help foster that other opinion, which is the American culture in your workplace, and you won't do it?
Well, it goes back to like crabs in the barrel. I think that as black folks in America, unfortunately we're so used to getting less. We're so used to getting the breadcrumbs. We're so used to getting just one position. No, we have, one position open, even though we have a lot of qualified black folks, but we're so used to just giving only one opportunity to one individual that unfortunately when we see someone else moving up, we feel threatened. We're like, oh, well, I worked hard. Why is it that Juan gets to move up in the company? He only been here for 2 years. I've been here for 10 years. I should move up in the company. We don't look at it as, but hey, if I befriend Juan and he moves up in the company and I support him, maybe perhaps, even though I am older, he'll advocate for me and maybe I can get a raise as a woman, or maybe he'll advocate for me and maybe we can work together to get more black folks in this space. We never look at the opportunity. Ooh, that's good. We never look at the opportunity to work together. We always look at the opposition or the negative of someone who looks like us, and we assume that he or she has more. But one thing I know to be true, and this is the Christian speaking out of me, is you never know the sacrifice that someone has done to get where they're at, or you never know the calling on someone's life that God has. Like, we always look at someone's journey and then compare ourselves and get jealous and try to block them because we don't value our own self. When you value blacks doing well, then you will always have a positive mentality. So what, it wasn't your time. So what, you didn't move forward. So what, you don't have as much money as the next person. But when you always have a positive outlook on, I value a black person doing well, I value a black person making it, I value supporting black people, trust and believe those seeds will be planted and eventually you're going to reap what you sow. I think the problem is that people focus so much on the negative that they plant negative seeds and cause more strife. And as I said before, we already got enough to deal with when it comes to systematic oppression. Why are you making it even harder for someone who look like you? And I'm not saying you gotta be best friends with somebody who's black. If they've shown you who they are and they have toxic energy, or there's someone who obviously doesn't really want to see you do well, then my advice is not to necessarily talk about them. Maybe leave them where they're at, pray for that person. But if you see somebody who's genuinely trying to, talk to you, they seem like they cool, y'all have like similarities, like backgrounds, maybe he or she's married, you're married, kids, there should be no reason why you can't help one another out. Other communities do it all the time. When someone's struggling, hey, can I call you after work so I can figure this out? They sure do. Yet we are the only ones that feel like we have to have the burden by ourselves and we have to be in these silo spaces where we can't work together for the greater good.
Yeah, Marvin had a comment. He said, meaning...
True state.
He said, meaning I had a friend I met in the military. This guy looked down on us so bad, but he didn't realize that he had came from a 2-household family and had money. And then Marvin also said, true statement true technique queen. Some don't look at the the sacrifice. I'm sorry, but I think we are taught to win all cost, and and that's true. But I understand, like, the propensity to want to win and everything, but it can't be that you want to step down. We shouldn't try to step on people to get somewhere, especially when it means stepping on our own. And then let's be honest. A lot of this stupidity that happens, it's from a very small mindset.
Yeah.
You're definitely looking at right now gratification. The idea that physically harming someone, the idea that stepping on someone is going to really take care of the end all goal. It's not. It's very short-sighted. You may supplement your fragile ego for a moment, but then what does that do in the greater scheme of things? Because if it's at the workplace, that person can surpass you up, or you can find yourself surrounded by people you can't trust because you then pushed off. What's up, General Giant? I ain't seen you in a while, sir. IG. You push away the very people you need that will help propel you further, or you get mad, you kill somebody that look like you, but then now you got to go to jail.
And your face is now plastered all over the media. So now this guy, and I'm the kind of person where I believe in just do. It's likely that it was him because people have identified him, but we know the police is really good at high-profile cases when we are claiming we want justice and they want to quickly, solve the mystery. They'll, do a little bit of police work and then slap somebody on the wrist and say, "Oh, we have identified suspects," and then that person face becomes plaster, and now people are believing that this guy killed Nipsey Hussle. Oh my God, I don't know why people keep saying Russell. Nipsey Hussle. And so, did this guy do it? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, he's entitled to a just due process. The point I'm trying to make is that maybe the guy did do it, but the point I'm trying to make is that there are many cases where people didn't do the crime, but they were accused of doing the crime, and now they go to jail and they get killed or whatever because the police didn't do good police work. All I'm saying is, in the greater scheme of things, is that self-confidence is literally, it's like gold, it's like wealth. If you are not self-confident in yourself and your ability and the way you look and what God gave you innately as far as a gift, it doesn't matter whom it is, you're going to always be jealous. You're going to always cause strife. You're going to always cause havoc because you have not dealt with you. Which is why I think we have a lot of these issues, because I think many of us are not doing our due diligence to go and seek mental health. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you should never be that sensitive to the point where someone say, "Yo, man, you're not really a hood dude. You kind of soft for real." If you're not a hood person,
Never understood that.
Yeah, if you're not a hood person and you never killed somebody, you don't desire to kill somebody, what's wrong with that? I don't like you right. For example, for all of y'all who don't know me, people always have the time, you are definitely not hood, you're a suburban chick, and you are darn skippy. I am. I grew up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. I don't know much about the hood. My parents did not allow me to go to the hood. Doesn't mean I don't have respect for the hood. Doesn't mean I don't know where the hood is at. But it does mean that I don't know what it's like to live in the hood. I don't know what it's like to eat syrup sandwiches at night. We didn't have those issues. I don't know what it's like to eat sardines. We didn't eat sardines. I don't know what it's like to only pick out Payless shoes because my mom felt like Payless shoes weren't quality. That doesn't mean I was spoiled. My mama gave me one option to get one pair of shoes for the school year. We would go to either Finish Line or a Foot Locker. I could pick out Nikes or whatever, and that one pair of shoes was going to last me the whole school year. So I still had rules, and my parents weren't wealthy, but the point I'm trying to make is that just because my story is not one of struggle doesn't mean I don't have a valid black experience. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, why does the black experience in movies and in Hollywood and amongst the masses, so it seems to people, why does the black experience have to be struggle? Woe is me. I was raised by a single parent mom. We struggled. The son finally made it to the NBA. That's not everybody's experience. And that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it is a real part.
He said laugh out.
It is a real part of what some will deal with in America, because it's been systematically set up. So when you have so many fathers targeted into the community, and things happen, but we do know that's not the whole of our story. And what I don't see or what we haven't always seen, is a balanced representation of the black experience in total. But you know, when you're dealing with the issue of us coming against one another, I would like to say, and then you know we'll probably like move on to some other things I want to get at. We just have to find a way just to see love in one another. You know, and it has to go beyond just saying it online, putting it in a meme. A lot of people post memes about, oh, I love my brother, oh, you know, black love this, black boy joy, black girl magic. You're putting black girl magic and you hating on a girl because you don't like the way her weave look. You're putting black boy joy, but then at the same time, the second a brother accidentally step on your shoes, you ready to knuckle up and punch him. And then my other issue with this, and I'm not trying to tell people to go do violence, but it's amazing to me that we can have so much energy to kill someone that look like us.
Angst, right?
But Zimmerman's still alive last time I checked, right? Y'all all know who he is. Ain't nobody rolled up on him in the streets. Y'all and I know he's protected, but y'all roll up on a celebrity in a heartbeat. Countless times have we heard about video shoots being shot up, clubs being shot up, people attacked outside of award shows, all of that. But meanwhile, you got somebody out there making money off of killing an innocent black man who had an Arizona iced tea and Skittles. I ain't seen none of y'all walk up on him. Once again, I'm not challenging you to do that because we know it's wrong, right? But it's just interesting how someone could kill somebody so fast that look like them. And I understand majority of violence happens, I think it's like 90% of crimes do happen by people who look like you or who are typically close to you, because crime typically happens via proximity, right? So the reason why you still have white or white crime, 88% of crimes committed by whites are done to other whites, because the truth is people typically do crime to those in proximity of themselves. And because of the way our social economic system works in America, it tends to be that people of lower economic status are with each other, middle class are with each other, and rich are with each other. And normally, you know, you tend to live around people that look like you. There are very few places in America that are truly diverse, like a DC, a New York, or parts of LA, you know, things of that nature, right? With that said, it's just interesting that we're so willing to punch somebody in the face that look like us. That's why I was always so disturbed about Cardi B, Nicki Minaj going at each other. Like, it's to a point to where it's visceral. It's not like you putting it all on tape. I understand that, but I do have a problem with us going at each other, and then we celebrate that. Like Kodak Black, that was just so ignorant. It's like it was out of place. You know, there's probably a lot of people that might have said something stupid like that behind scenes, but the difference between that, because I saw someone try to say, well, look, people are going to say what they say in private. That's true, but he was on live. Yeah. And it wasn't somebody else recording him secretly. This is his live, Kodak Black's live, and he said something dumb about Lauren London talking about
poor, just, and it makes me wonder when it comes to these celebrities, like, where is your team? I mean, I get that they can do what they want to do, but like, where is your team?
Well, the people that was there with Kodak, if you watch the video, they're saying like, yo, too soon for that. You know, even I heard one of the guys in the background say like, yo, it's too soon for that. But I think the issue is, it goes back to something that a theme we've tackled many times here at the Nitty Gritty. People want, well, General Johnny just took the words out of my mouth. Clout chasing dummy, right?
Definitely, that's bingo, bingo.
Right on the head, right? Yes. People want clout, fame, and attention so bad, they do it at all costs. I know he said he apologized, but even the apologize lacked real empathy. And you know, he's like, yo, my bad, Lauren London, if I offended you, and you know, and rest in peace to dude. You know who dude's name is? Nipsey Hussle.
But that's what I'm saying. And again, and I'll say this because I always like. I don't want to say that the 60s was the best for us. I don't want to say that. And I don't want to seem like I...
Because the 60s definitely had their issues.
Exactly. I don't want to say I glorify that. And I think that back in those days, because they didn't have social media, we weren't privy to possibly the ignorant statements or things that people do.
But look at Malcolm X in the 60s. He went hard at Martin Luther King and all the Stokely Carmichaels and stuff of the world at the time. He went hard at them because he was like, they some coons, they this. He has this huge platform, and at the time, when he was with the Nation of Islam, he was going hard at people that basically wanted the same thing he did. Yeah. And then it was finally, you know, he had that revelation when he went to his journey to Mecca, came back, different song and dance at that point.
I was just gonna say, I think that people at that time generally, it seems like, had at least a level of respect for one another. Doesn't mean that you didn't have a few bad apples, but it seems like 9 times out of 10, because we all struggling together, I'm gonna just respect your house. If somebody died, I'm not gonna say anything out of ignorant to set you up. I don't know. Maybe they did because it wasn't social media back then. I don't know, but it just seems that way.
I think the difference is back in the day, I think it was America was in a different place because what the social values were at the time, and then at the same time they didn't have social media. Because let's be honest, when Aunt so and so had a baby at a wedlock in her teenage years, they just moved them to the South so nobody saw it. So they hid a lot of stuff. That's why half these folks now can't figure out
their cousins are.
Their cousins, their grandparents, and what their lineage is before that, because there's so many secrets that nobody want to tell. So I'm not going to give the elders too much credit. Not being disrespectful, but I'm just saying, y'all be honest. If y'all had social media, one of y'all would have been out there twerking.
You know what, Juan? You're absolutely right, because I do feel like if I'm going to be introspective and honest, one thing about the elders or the older generation that I don't like is that they have a hard time getting real with themselves.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time answering tough questions.
And that's part of the reason why
and that includes the Bible, right?
Yeah, no.
Because we were just talking about this last week. They have a hard time, like if you have, let's say for instance, you have a lineage of alcoholism, calling a spade a spade. So if you know that you have an issue with alcoholism, when you say it and they get all sensitive, like we're talking about, my father may have a problem with alcohol, but the record shows that maybe your father had a problem with alcohol. Like they have a hard time calling a spade a spade. I feel like our generation is more, we're able to at least be like, yo, this is my truth. We may not necessarily do all the steps to get help, but we at least can call a spade and be like, yo, I mess with meth or whatever. And, we able to just say.
Oh, wow, mess with meth. Just go all in mess with meth, huh?
I don't, but you get what I'm saying. Like, people are more prone to go on Red Table Talk and say, look, I'm struggling.
Yeah, people are quicker to deal with their issues.
Because you
can't really hide from them because of the social media age. People find out everything these days.
What's the comment?
General Johnny made a point that he said Kodak is the exact reason why our people need to have a code. And you're right. There should be some kind of, code of honor. There should be some type of baseline respect. And that's an issue that's going on with people. And, it's the reason why we have issues with race. It's the reason why we have issues with misogyny. It's the reasons why we have problems with equal employment, how we treat immigrants. It's just humans haven't found a way just to say, let's just love and respect humans. And you just can't. I understand that it's just not going to cure itself overnight, but there's, I guess, levels as to how we can see it. It can start in the family. I think part of the reason why we have the issues that we have in the black community, why we celebrate family so much from a before time period, there was a lot of issues in families then. Like I said, they just swept a lot of stuff under the rug, but then it became a thing where, Aunt so-and-so or Uncle so-and-so didn't show up to the family reunion. You notice that certain people don't go to each other's, weddings
or
and
baby shower,
or don't celebrate, one grandchild over the next, because there's a lot of colorism issues that's fractured our communities.
Oh God, yes.
I
heard people say some stories like, oh yeah,
rapes. We have family members out there that they dog one family member, and then that family ends up just dogging everybody they see because they haven't dealt with hurt, and then that previous family member never dealt with why they had a problem with dark skin. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that has created this internal hate and issues we have. And I think what happens is, if I could just be honest, you have some of that older generation, that 50 plus. And anybody that knows me know I have a lot of respect for my elders, and I believe in giving them their just due.
Natural hair.
But that's what I'm saying is like when you start seeing people that hate on natural hair, certain types of progressive movements that is actually good, things that they supposedly fought and died for, right? It's met with resistance, or they have a way of looking down on this generation. But I'm sorry, when you look at those old dances that they were doing back in the 50s and 60s, when they was doing their little jitter and all that stuff,
doing their little jig,
it looked like they were shaking some booty, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Different style of music, so maybe it wasn't as fast as, when the song comes on and, hey, representing for the 99 and the 2000s. But, y'all was moving to some James Brown back in the day.
Yeah, I definitely think that they have their issues, and I definitely don't want to make them seem like some saints. But I feel like, as a scenario, you would never see someone back in those days calling an older person a bitch or pistol whipping an older person. Whereas nowadays, these kids don't care who you are. You could be 60, 70. If you want to, like, for example, if you on the train and I see someone that's older, I was taught, let me get up out my seat. It's grown men. I'm talking about 6 foot sitting on the train like, I don't care if she old. I'm about to just sit right here, chill. And grandma just be sitting there struggling on the train, holding the pole. And they be sitting there like, they be looking at her like, well, I don't know why she can't stand. Why she on the train? Like.
My man General Johnny said, respect to the elders, but.
No, but yes. I feel like there are definitely some deeply rooted issues from back in those days. Because, like, when you talk to older people, you'll start to discover, like, man, you got some serious issues. And you start to listen, you're like, you ain't been to a therapist before? Because these people be literally, and they project it, right, onto their kids, and then it becomes generational.
Yep.
I have friends, and we talk, and even though they're your family, we've decided, like, you know what? I love my family, but I see some things in my family that's negative, and I don't want to be represented in me, and I don't want to pass it down. So I'm going to kind of nip it in the bud now. And then when you have these tough conversations with these certain family members, I feel like it never goes well.
Marvin said, "Laugh out loud up north." Hey, down south they just as bad, man. They just
what?
I think he's talking about the respect thing. Maybe he'll like add some more clarification. But I know from conversations we have offline, he cracking some black jokes. But no, I would say respect is a different thing. I'll say that the culture of the South is one typically where they still have some of these old gestures. Like because like for instance down south typically the Southern gentleman, right, opening doors, pulling the seat out. There are still some old Southern traditions that they do. And that's true. And when you walk into town, they'll smile at you. But at night, they'll throw on them sheets and they'll pull that noose out.
We stand up for grandma. That's nice.
Yeah, I figured he was going with that, right? There's the old values, and that's probably true. I know, but
not in DC, buddy.
but the crazy thing about that is, I know from living down south, there's some cats down there that'll tip their head down when a woman comes by, all that. But these same dudes will go out there and shoot someone that looks just like them. I.e. like a Memphis, right? So it's kind of like, I think sometimes in the South, and I put this out there because this affects a lot of different types of people, right? But if I'm dealing with the hood cats in the South, right, they'll have all these nice Southern mannerisms, and then you'll still go out there and kill somebody because you don't like the different color rag he's wearing, right? Or in one space, you'll find somebody who's Christian, but they black. But at the same time, they'll talk down to somebody as soon as they walk out the church. Shoot, they can't even get to the vestibule or the lobby before they hating on Sister So-and-so. And they have negative response and actions. We all, for those that's in church, we've all seen it live with our own eyes. So once again, it comes under this root of having honest, genuine respect for those that look like you. Because that's what's going to stop the gang violence. That's what's going to stop us from hating on each other when we try to go into the workplace. That's what's going to stop us hating on each other for hair. I've seen more, typically, when you talk about people outside the race, when it comes to the issue of hair, especially with women, I've seen white women just more or less be like, they'll do the dumb thing like, oh, can I touch it? Can I touch it? That's about the worst of it, right? But in our own community, sisters get real judgmental about hair. Oh, girl, did you see her wig? It didn't look right. Oh, girl, did you see that glue? Her glue is showing. I hope she'll fix it up. Like, right thing. Let her sister live. Oh, that don't look so nappy. This. Oh, you know she's straightening. You know she got a relaxer. It's like, dang, why? I see so many sisters talking about, and I'm going to go there, and I'm about to have some enemies real quick, and it's cool. I see so many sisters talking about these Negroes need to respect our sisters, black women this, empowerment this, but there's show after show. I don't care if it's Love and Hip Hop, I don't care if it's Married to Medicine, I don't care if it's Housewife this, we're a group of friends but we hate on each other this, right? All these shows where you see this kind of animosity within our community, and we're eating it up, we're buying it, and we're all bought in, and I understand that this is supposed to be an opportunity for black women, but all I ever see with these shows when they're turned on are black women hating on other black women. And we celebrate that culture.
Yeah, I mean, they have Jersey and New York, and they do the same thing.
I understand that, but the most profitable ones, right, are the ones with the sisters on it, right?
They are the most money.
Those are the ones that get the most money. You know why? Because sisters are supporting it. And then you got sisters start mimicking that same thing in their real relationships. It's like, if you're going to be friends with one another, why are you guys tearing each other down every chance you get? I done seen this in the church communities. I done seen this in hood communities. I done seen this within sororities. I done seen this with the university girls, professional girls. And
well, I think there's two ways to look
infighting is infighting. We can't call out men that kill each other.
I think there's
and that's talking about women that kill each other via social media.
I think there's two ways to look at it. There is a difference between someone who is shading or reading, and it's
how is that possible?
Hold on, let me just finish. There is a difference between somebody that is shading or reading somebody, and it's a negative outcome. But if you have a messed up weave or what have you, and someone comes and tells you not in front of people, but one-on-one, like, hey girl, you know, I want to, you know, put you on to my stylist because she does good weave, and you get offended because everybody talking about your weave and you're trying to help that person, that's different. And I feel like there's two different perspectives.
All right, so let me put this out. All right, so I'm going to use the example you just did. Let's say, shorty, you walk up to somebody and you say, hey, you know what, put you to the side real quick. Hey, your weave messed up real quick.
A random, no.
No, not a random. This is somebody coming around y'all crew, right? Like, somebody know them. You tell them, man, you know, you need to fix your weave, blah, 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 blah. Then that sister leaves, and now she character assassinates you across social media. Stop putting your business out. Yeah, I heard she cheated on her man. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. Oh, this. It's not a violent way of hurting your sister, but that's no different than a group of men sitting off of Slauson Avenue, and one man tells the other one that's coming around, hey man, you know, maybe you shouldn't come around here no more because I heard you snitching and, you know, you working with the police. And just to clarify for those that don't know, black people, even those in the hood, don't have a problem with folks calling the police. And you only get called a snitch when you move in a criminal manner or you take part in criminal activity, right? And then you got the nerve to go around and snitch after the fact. You doing the same dirt to get your money, and then you snitching on folks.
Yeah, but I think it's better to tell somebody something than to talk about them. And my thing is, if you know somebody looks crazy,
let me finish.
And you trying to help them out.
But let me finish. But even in that situation, right? You just trying to help him out. Nipsey was just trying to help him out. Hey man, you shouldn't come around here no more. And I don't think it might have been a diss thing. It could be as simple as, look, if you're gonna be up here snitching to the cops, maybe you shouldn't come around here because there's people around here that will kill you for that, right? But then people's egos get bruised, and then they come back and they do some hateful stuff.
That's why you gotta be honest with yourself, though. It goes back to what I was saying before. You have to be a person or an adult that is mature enough to receive criticism and positivity. If you cannot handle criticism, you're never going to get anywhere in life, and you're never going to make the improvements. It's almost like me wanting to be in show business, right? And someone says, well, sure, you have a great voice, you have a great look, but you need to lose some weight. I can either be salty by it and be like, man, I ain't listening to them, they don't know what they're talking about, or I can get my butt into shape and take what they say into account. Maybe they have a point.
We'll have people that are
maybe they have a point.
We have people that are already celebrities and they'll get hate from sisters. Or they'll get hate, even brothers, that hate on another brother because they're already celebrities, right? And then we'll put undue pressure on them to say, oh, she famous? She should be looking better than that. Oh, she famous? Oh, they should have did her hair better than that. They show up to...
Well, I feel like if you were a celebrity, you making millions, to me...
The perception is they're making millions. Half the time, they're not even really making that kind of money.
Okay, we'll put it this way. If you are a celebrity and you are going to be on a red carpet of some sort, I would hope that you would take some kind of initiative to look your best. You are a representative of some label or some whatever. So I understand what you're saying. It doesn't give us a right to talk about that person. That's true. But I do feel like it's no excuse to look crazy when you have the money to look nice.
But sometimes they don't be looking bad. It's just that people are just overly judgmental.
Yes, I do agree with that. I do. But for example, some of these people who be coming to the red carpet with like pink spike hair. Now, granted, sometimes I think people do it for, like Gentle Giant was saying, clout chasing or to get a reaction out of people. I do agree people are over judgmental, and it doesn't give us a right to like judge people because it puts unnecessary pressure to always be fly and have it all together. Sometimes I come on the nitty gritty show, I look back on the videos, I'm like, ooh, cat, that wasn't a good look or whatever, and it is frustrating. But I do feel like as a celebrity, you're at a different standard, and I expect you to be more on than someone like me, because how you make your bread and butter generally is how you look or based upon your talent and stuff. And so it's like if you don't really want that lifestyle, then you probably shouldn't be a celebrity. It comes with the territory. It's kind of like people judging Beyonce or judging J-Lo for how they look or how they sing. People are like, oh, people shouldn't be so mean. I agree. But the reality is you signed up to be a vocalist. You signed up to be in the limelight, so you should have at least enough self-confidence to not care about what people think. And the reality is most celebrities are not that confident. Now I'll tell you one celebrity who don't give a rat's monkey when nobody says.
A rat's monkey?
Yes. A rat's monkey when nobody says, and that is Rihanna. She don't care if y'all think she can sing. She don't care if y'all think she cute. She showed up to red carpets with her titties showing. She just don't care. But the thing I can admire about Rihanna is that Rihanna is living life. She looks like she's having a good time all the time. She looks like she's having fun. And she's super confident. And I feel like she is the prime example of what a celebrity should embody if you're going to go into that industry. Somebody who just don't care what people think.
But you know what? That's the minority, right? But it
is the minority.
That's a small minority. So because we know that's a minority, we can't work off the exception rule. We have to work off something that will fit the majority. And the base matter of it all, when you start talking about how we don't do each other right in corporate America, how we killing each other in the streets, how we doing our own wrong, and here's the thing about Nipsey. He didn't just kill Joe Blow on the street that he was just jealous of. He killed someone that was really trying to do right. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, if just to give a little history lesson, it was people that looked like us that killed Malcolm X. Now I know there's some people that said that those were government plants, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. The government can't make you kill someone that look like you if you value who looks like you. Mm-hmm. Now I'll say that one more time for the people in the back. No one can force you to do harm to someone who looks like you when you value those who looks like you. So it don't matter if the FBI wanted Malcolm X killed or Martin Luther King killed. Let me stick to Malcolm X, as we all know that he died in that church, shot down by folks who look like him. If we value one another, there'll be no amount of money they can give me to take out a brother that look like me who's trying to help other brothers that look like me. Can't happen. You can't. My son General says it all the time. # sold not for sale. Right? Mm-hmm. You can't convince me to kill another brother like me because ain't enough money in the world to get me to do this harm. So it comes down.
He said money talks, BS walks.
That's true, but we need to start having greater values than money, and there's something more precious than money. That's in my order. They go human life and time. Because you know what? With all the technological advances we have, you can't go out there and buy a replicated person. With all the money in the world we have, you can't add 2 more hours to a day. When that it's finite.
Yeah.
When it is gone, it is gone.
Same with life.
No, that's why I said human life.
Yeah.
Because and the reason why I didn't say like all life per se, because I'll still eat a chicken. You know what I'm saying? I'll see that joker running around the field. I'm gonna take him, snap his neck, pull the feathers off. We gonna eat that hammer. You know what I'm saying? But I value like
the real vegan's gonna be after him. But no.
He said exactly, but some are weak.
But the thing is though,
we need to be strong.
If we're honest, Juan, yes, those are the values that everybody should have, everybody should live by. But the reality is we live in a capitalist society, and money is the root of all evil, and money is what drives the United States of America. Everybody wants money. That's why you have women half naked on social media, because hopefully it helps to yield to money. That's why you have strip clubs. Women ain't in there just shaking their butt, because they like attention. They in there to get money. When they don't get money, they get upset. That's why you have people who are being crooked on Wall Street and moving different stocks and moving their assets to foreign bank accounts so that way the government can't get taxes on them. Because people want money. Money in America may not solve all your problems, but it does provide better opportunities, better resources, and a better lifestyle. Doesn't mean it's right, but the reality is this country was built on slavery for the benefit of money. This is a money type of country. Thus, those kind of values for most people go out the window. If you get 10 people, random people from a middle class in the hood, we're gonna not say the rich, and you tell them, I'll give you $1 million if you strip naked and run around outside, I guarantee at least 80% of them will probably do it.
So you're talking about rich people be the first to do it. Marvin said exactly, money and cheeks. But you said
and rich. Well, yeah.
No, I'll say rich too, because think about it.
Rich too. I was just saying.
Because Halle Berry, when she did that Monsters Ball, I'm not gonna get in the Monsters Ball. I want to talk about Swordfish. They paid her $250,000 per titty. They didn't even give her a whole $1 million. They $250,000 per breast, so $500,000 total to do the scene in Swordfish where she shows herself topless. That was a big deal. It was nipple and everything. Whole titty out there. Whole 2 titties, 2 scoops. Like Raisin Bran. And all she had to get was $500,000. And this is somebody who got bread already. This is, when she did Swordfish, she already did a slew movie. She had a little bit of money in her pocket. But she still showed her breast for $500,000. And what I'm saying is, we have to get to a place within our community. I can't change the whole world overnight. I can't change the whole community overnight. But I think the challenge I would lead everybody here today watching the show, everybody who will watch this podcast later via YouTube, Instagram, wherever, all the places you can find us, maybe you'll hear about it, is I would just challenge you guys to just compliment someone who looks like you this week. Because this works just not within our community. If you outside of the community, you have someone that looks like you, I would challenge, because let's like make no qualms about it. The stuff we deal with, whites deal with in the workplace too. They talk about each other like a dog as well, right? Yeah, but they're talking from a very young age to adulthood to keep kitchen table talk. I don't know, these new millennials today, whether they black, white, Asian, African, South American, whatever you are, millennials today, I think they have no respect half the time. Possibly. I mean, I feel like with their community, they usually do. It's like, we may not know that Johnny doesn't like Bobby, but behind closed doors they may have those conversations. But in front of everybody, like, well, I'm gonna show my allegiance, because they quick to sideswipe or make some kind of. I'm not gonna put it on a pedestal. They just as nasty and messy. Question for $1 million: you wouldn't run the block naked? That's not me. I'm sorry. No, not for cameras, action, and social media. Maybe for my husband in a secluded island somewhere, yes. But for $1 million for me to run naked and have people possibly see, what if I become famous or decide I want to go into politics and they bring that out? Like, that's selling my soul, that's selling my morals and my values. My body is my body. Now, $1 million to speak somewhere or do an engagement or use my voice or my talents in an authentic way? Oh, absolutely. $1 million, look, I won't be honest, I'll think about it. More than likely, I'm not going to do it because I got kids and they don't want to see that crap. I'm going to think about it though. But you have to think about the repercussions of it too. Like a Kim Kardashian. I get that. When her kids grow older. I was just joking. Yeah, I know, but when her kids grow older, yeah, they live a rich lifestyle, but if you get in bully or people are tagging you to your mom's sex tape, that can cause someone to want to do commit suicide or something. You talking about me? Yeah, bro. So he asking me like, nah, I'm not getting butt naked for $1 million. But it goes back to the root thing. Like I said, I gotta think about it. We all talking about $1 million tax. Well, we doing a photo shoot. We talking about running around. Like, if you doing a photo shoot where you got. I only want to go down the rabbit hole because we only got 2 minutes left. Junk part. Then maybe you do. We're doing a little Jamaican photo shoot behind some kind of leaves or something. Maybe you may be able to do it like a little spread like that, or with the little athletes do their little ball, do the football right by their junk. Like the ESPN. So maybe doing something like that. Something like that, maybe okay. But literally just running around wild where we all for reality TV where there are cameras, just because it's like, I don't know. That's much. I don't. I'm good. I work really hard. I'm enterprising. I think one day, we'll make some things shake. But look, I'm not gonna belabor the point because I want us to meet within our time frame so that way our IG crowd is not cut off in the last bit of the conversation like we always do, y'all. But like, of course, you know, we thank all of y'all for always joining, celebrating, and once again, take on that challenge. If you didn't catch it before, I challenge all of you, anybody who's watching this podcast. You see someone that looks like you, maybe they don't gotta look like you, just anybody. Try to compliment someone this week.
Yeah.
A person that you don't know, but they look like you. All right. Compliment them. Just, you know, hey, they got a nice pretty kick on or something like that. Let's do it. My man Mackie said, I'm sorry, Mackie is running around full speed, but booty naked. Alright, for $1 million. Break me off like 1,000. That's all I ask for. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to do it. But look, man, y'all too funny. We appreciate y'all, like I said, watching. We'll post this to the YouTube for those that didn't catch it. It's always on Facebook to watch again. Thank you, IG, for watching.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all support the channel. Excited. We got some cool things going on this. We're doing our special Game of Thrones episode. We're Game of Thrones fans around here.
And we black and we like them.
So we will be doing a special show for that. Thanks. He said awesome show, family. Always happy to have you. So yeah, next Sunday for our Game of Thrones fans, just letting you know it's gonna be a special Game of Thrones episode. We're actually gonna have a group of people that you guys, some of them you've seen on the show before, maybe some of you haven't, but they're gonna be here joining us. We're gonna kind of like having a revolving door on this couch. People are gonna be giving their thoughts to Game of Thrones. So all of my Game of Thrones fans, if you watch this show, if you're going to be watching Game of Thrones next week, make sure you tune in with us at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be talking Game of Thrones. And then we're going to go on and have our watch party here. And it's going to be a good time. So, really excited about that coming up. Once again, you know, we send our blessings and our prayers to the Nipsey Hussle family. And
Lauren London.
Yeah, and Lauren London.
You playing some Nip?
I was, but I couldn't find like just a decent, clean song to play. So what I am going to play is, I'm going to play Michelle Blackwell. She's also DC local. Okay. She has a song called Enjoy Myself. Y'all probably heard it on the radio, 95.5, 96.6, whatever. Okay. And, so I'm going to play that. Today was a beautiful day outside. This song is a great song to play when the sun is shining. It was, 81 degrees?
It was good.
Man, like, great day. Cherry blossoms are still blossoming in DC. So I'm going to play a little Michelle Blackwell as we tune out. Once again, thank you everybody for joining. Support the nitty gritty. Got to support black journalists, black media, black thought. You know, black. You know what I'm saying? It's the movement. It's the nitty gritty. It's your boy Jay Costa.
It's your girl Katniss.
And together we are
the nitty gritty.
Appreciate y'all. A little bit of go-go. What y'all know about that go-go music? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got this in Louisiana. You hear me, Marvin? You don't got this in Louisiana.